What's up guys, Stellar Christoph here for another Elestrals video, and today we're going to go through two different videos of the recent reveals for Firestorm. Let's get started with Swarm the Field with Werepup and Like a Void.
You guys already know that Lunar is my favorite element, and we are going to turn it up in this video. Firestorm reveals, Lunar casters get ready, let's dive in. If you haven't pre-ordered Elestrals Divine Champions Firestorm, what are you doing? This set is...
As I say in all the videos, guys, if you're going to pre-order, please use my affiliate link that's in the description below. Help your boy out just a little bit.
Double starter decks, same price, 4 packs, insane. We've also got that exclusive Exaltair Stellar promo that comes with every order over 50 USD, and you get 2 of them if you spend 100 or more, and 3 of them if you spend 150 or more. We scaled the promos up, so take advantage of that because that is awesome. But like I said, today is all about the Lunar element. We're going to be revealing a handful of new Lunar cards that are going to take advantage of Artemis's incredible ability to suppress cards on the field, and that's going to be the focus today. So let's take a look at our first champion, Werepup, champion of Artemis. Now it's worth reminding you guys that these champion cards are considered title cards, which means that if you have Werepup, champion of Artemis, you can run 3 copies of that, and you can run 3 copies of the original.
Very good point to have. And then I have noticed that some of these cards actually work together. You know, you gotta think about Elechick and Elechick. You can use one to search for your Zeus, and you can use the other one to power up Zeus, depending on how many spirits are on it. But today we got Werepup, champion of Artemis. You can special ascend this Werepup to Like a Void from your hand or deck if opponent has at least 1 suppressed card. So there we go. Is that 2? 2 suppressed cards, my mistake. So Dense Fog, really good combo for this. Gorgon's Gaze with Artemis, 2 Artemis on field, whatever you have to do. When this Werepup is destroyed in battle, you can suppress a card on your opponent's field until the next turn. I like that thinking for Galaxy. I do think that's a good Galaxy out. Even, say, Viscerus, too. Viscerus getting buffed by its own stats. Use Werepup. Then they can't attack over the next turn. Or if they destroy you that turn, you can do something on yours.
Werepups. So when you consider building out your decks and how these cards can synergize together, don't forget that. Werepup, champion of Artemis, is a brand new Werepup with 3 attack and 2 defense. Too. You can special ascend this Werepup to Like a Void from your hand or deck if an opponent has at least 2 suppressed cards.
So we know we're getting a champion Like a Void, but that animation just showed you too. It can be any Like a Void you have. So if you have the main one, the one that we know from Moonrise, you can go ahead and bring that out. And then next turn you can do a control mechanic with Full Moon and an attack over versus being defensive with it.
So again, leaning heavily into the suppression mechanic that Artemis provides, you can suppress your opponent's cards by utilizing cards like Dense Fog as well, so you do have a couple options there. When this Werepup is destroyed in battle, you can suppress a card on your opponent's field until the next turn. So you have an opportunity here to turn off your opponent's effects when they destroy your Werepup. So that could actually be really useful, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the card that ultimately destroyed Werepup. You can target any card on your opponent's field and suppress them. So
that's true. I actually didn't think about that. So if they have to say Zeus, if they have their own Artemis, Demeter, Stadium, Trident of Poseidon against water decks, for instance, any number of cards you can use against that. If you're Trident locked, that's actually a perfect combo.
Werepup is going to allow you to kind of set up for its first effect and also add more suppression to your opponent's field passively. Up next, Artemis is rocking a brand new champion, her Like a Void. Incredibly powerful. We've seen Like a Void, Werepup, and Full Moon take a huge step forward here in the current Moonrise metagame, and this new Like a Void is going to allow you to swarm the field in a way that you've never been able to do before. 6 attack and 5 defense for this 2-cost Lunar Elestral that states when you cast this Like a Void, you can special cast any number of Werepup from your deck with Lunar suppressed. That means that those Werepup are coming to the field without an effect, and they will not be able to get their effect at any point after they are cast because they are going to be suppressed indefinitely. This is going to allow you to get more suppressed cards onto your field and activate some really unique effects, but most importantly, you're allowed to swarm the field with your Werepup, as you can cast out up to 3 Werepup to your field to sit alongside this Like a Void. This immediately gets you incredible amounts of pressure, even if those Werepup cannot have their effects.
So the first part is I do like the swarming mechanic, except for they're all 3/2s. So with Stadium, they're 4s. That's okay. But this kind of goes with, we're going to see it here shortly, I'm pretty sure. It's the Pandolence, Champion of Artemis. That has a really cool effect that works with this very good. The secondary effect, you can destroy a suppressed Celestial on your field. If you do, destroy a suppressed Celestial on your opponent's field. So again, have Artemis sitting there. Say they play Pantera. That's always my number one option. They play Pantera. Go ahead and suppress it. Use Like a Void's effect to destroy it with one of your Werepups. Even if they're playing Voltempest and they have Zeus on field, go ahead and do that mechanic. If you say you have Resting on Your Laurels or Earthquake in hand, then you can go ahead and pop the Voltempest.
Powerful. This Like a Void then goes on to say that you can destroy a suppressed Celestial on your field. If you do, destroy a suppressed Celestial on an opponent's field. So what that means is you have the flexibility to destroy or sacrifice one of your Werepup, almost like a Boom Bat in a way, and destroy an opponent's suppressed Celestial on the field.
I will say that this is much better than the normal Like a Void. The normal Like a Void you want to play when you're going to go ahead and you want to deal massive damage to your opponent. Either they have something strong, you need to get rid of it. Then you can go ahead, it's unaffected by counter runes when Full Moon's activated, and then you go ahead and hit over. This Like a Void, on the other hand, is just a big body. A 6'5", those are awesome stats. Those are awesome stats. With Stadium on field, it's an 8'7", but again, this one's not added by Cryoblast, which has been my main thing with Moonrise Elestrals. There are so many 2 costs that are outed by Cryoblast. Like a Void and Tornigen, to be specific. This just feels so much better. It feels so much better to have a 6'5". Like those, to me, those are almost perfect stats.
You are going to have to be really mindful about how you activate your cards to suppress your opponent's cards, but nonetheless, this Like a Void is going to bring so much power when it swarms Werepups to the field, and your opponent's going to have to deal with that immediately because that is a lot of pressure. Very, very epic new card. Up next, we've got a little bit more offensive support for Artemis, being able to take advantage of that suppression and turn it into something very positive for your game plan. We've got Pandolence, the Champion of Artemis, swooping onto the field with 4 attack and 1 defense, and its effect states that when 1 or more Elestrals become suppressed, or when a player plays an Elestral suppressed, an opponent must expend.
So this was the card I was just talking about. So I activate Artemis to suppress you, you burn. I activate Gorgon's Gaze to suppress you, you burn. I play Cockadoodle to suppress you, you burn. I use Like a Void's effect to bring out all these Werepups, you burn. Very good. And then same thing, they play Gorgon's Gaze or they use any suppression, it's going to be the same scenario. I do see going into the next meta, I do see suppression being a lot stronger. Especially you got Tox, Eerie, and Night Venom. You got the Dense Fog mechanic. You have this with Artemis. I'm slowly starting to see a deck come together here for a suppression. Again, we have so many cards that we don't know that are coming out yet. So hopefully that adds to the list. But I can see a suppression deck actually, maybe not top tier meta deck, but I can see it being like a good B tier, high C tier deck list coming out.
Spirit. That is going to give you the opportunity to burn your opponents every time you're suppressing them to get a little bit more value out of your Artemis suppression, but also get some value out of cards like your Like a Void casting out suppressed Werepups. Pandolence, I think, is a card that is going to age very, very well as additional suppression tools are added to the game. And in the meantime, I think it can make a splash in Artemis decks as you work to build and suppress your opponent's strategies while you build your own board state to put them in a bad spot and force them to react to your offensive onslaught. I want to give a shout out to my man Full Frontage, by the way, who had the opportunity to reveal this card early, so big shout outs to him. Now it's time for us to take a look at one of my absolute favorite cards we've ever made. I love this card. It's one of my favorite Elestrals, and I think it's going to make a huge impact as we talk about swarming the board and taking advantage of suppression, and that is none other than Specterus, Champion of Artemis. This new Insectoid comes to the field with 4 attack and 2 defense.
This thing is going to be absolutely broken, in my opinion, going into an Antitan deck. So if you're able to suppress with that deck, this Specterus can be special cast from your hand with Lunar if your opponent has at least 1 suppressed card. So again, toss in a couple Artemises into your Antitan deck, suppress an Elestral, bring out 1, 2, maybe 3 of these Specteruses, special cast, go ahead and Mass Ascension into Antitan. Or Ardvara, pop one of these to bring out Antitan, whichever combo you want to use. This is going to be really good. Again, 4-2 isn't the best. You know, it would be nice if it was a 5, even a 5-1, but 4-2 decent stats. And when it comes to special casting Lunar, this is, in my opinion, this is even better than Gloombat. Gloombat, they need to have 2 face down cards on, or runes on the field to special cast. So at least this one, they literally only need to have one card on field that you can suppress, and you can go ahead and bring all these guys out. This is going to be really good for Lunar decks for a Mass Ascension. I'm even thinking as far as going into a Draking. Even if you toss one Artemis into your Draking deck and just wait for the pieces to line up, or, you know, any way to suppress, really. If you Gorgon's Gaze, again, you can save the Gorgon's Gaze for your turn, go ahead, activate it, and then bring these guys out.
This effect states that this Specterus can be special cast from your hand with Lunar if an opponent has at least 1 suppressed card. That means if you pair this with Artemis, you immediately can special cast out your Specterus, which has massive implications. Not only in terms of ascending your Lunar Elestrals and being able to get out cards like Phasmacore, or even...
I'll even go as far as bringing up Kraken, which is a card no one ever plays. It's from set 1. It's a 2/2 water. When you play it, you can suppress a card on the field. Or an Elestral on the field. I'll go as far as doing that. Bring Crackhead out and then special cast 2 or 3 of these guys, swarm the field. If you're able to protect them all for a turn, and then bring out Drak King, you can go Crack King, whatever combo you want to use. Like a Void if you want to.
Something like a Like a Void, like I mentioned earlier, and be able to put that pressure on your opponent by getting 2 drops out. But one of the coolest combinations you can utilize Specterus with is with Ardbud. Obviously, you're already leaning into the Lunar element with your Aardvarm and your Antitan, and now having flexibility with Specterus to be able to...
Yeah, Ardbud on cast searches an insect, suppress something, bring out Specterus, pop the Specterus to bring out Aardvarm, do the combo again if you if they still have a suppressed Elestral. That's talking about a 5 card, 6 card combo, but it's completely doable. If you start off the game, if you start off in your opening hand and you go turn 2 and you have Ardbud and Artemis in field or in hand, you can literally get Antitan out that same turn, which is absolutely crazy.
Cast it out to the field and use it.
Shout out to an actual log on Discord. He loves Antitan, and I think he's gonna go nuts with this deck list.
Fodder alongside your Ardbud. I think my Ardbud enjoyers are going to be really excited about this card because it has some massive, massive implications for Lunar, not just today, but for the future of the game, and I am very, very excited about this card. I hope you guys have so much fun with it. And believe it or not, I'm not even done because we've got a brand new Reverse Stellar to reveal for you guys. Reverse Stellars are absolutely amazing pulls out of your booster boxes. I'm a big fan of them. In Moonrise, we obviously had the Lunar Phase Reverse Stellars that you guys were able to collect, but we're switching things up here for Firestorm, and our first reveal here on these Reverse Stellars is going to be Reverse Stellar Specterus Champion.
So, I really do like this design. I did notice between this one and the regular Stellar Specterus from Daybreak, its blades aren't, I believe in Daybreak they're all yellow or gold, yellow, whichever color you want to pick. This one they got that little purplish vibe to it. I think this card's gonna pop when it comes to the holo pattern. I really do. I'm all for it. And the one thing that is nice too, because everyone wants a play set of the Specterus. Obviously, there's only 99 of them, so that part hurts. So with the Reverse Stellars, I have never got confirmation. I don't think there is confirmation on how many they print. I'm going to say it's at least 2 to 3 times that amount. So say it's 3 times, there's at least 300 of these that will get printed. That feels really good to me. That gives at least 100 people to go ahead and have a play set. Or if there's people master setting, everyone can get their master set plus a couple extras to play. I feel really good about that. I am all for it.
Artemis. We already talked about its effect, but big shout outs to this artwork because it is gorgeous. As a proud owner of 3 Daybreak Specterus Stellars, I need 3 of these bad boys, no doubt about it. This is going to be one of my top chase cards in the game. And you may notice something about the numbering here, by the way. I hear the collectors, for our main sets, we are going to be numbering our Reverse Stellars separately from the main set. That was a...
As a collector, I don't see that being a big deal because they were the last cards in the master set. You know what I mean? I can believe they were after the box toppers in that order. So it doesn't bother me at all. I don't see a big deal. Either way, it's fine. So I know once we get the numbers, I know I have the master set. So to me, it's not a big deal.
Feedback that we had gathered over the last couple sets. So we're going to take care of that for you guys as well. So get excited there.
I would say probably for the people who don't master set the Stellars is probably why they did that, so you can have a complete master set. Again, I don't see a big deal out of it.
Great stuff, an incredible pull that you'll be able to find in your Firestorm products. One of the things I love is our pre-order bonuses, and we've got an exclusive one for our local game stores that you are not going to want to miss out on, and that is the brand new Stellar Ampharix Champion of Hestia, a brand new champion Elestral that is going to bring the heat. 3 attack, 4 defense, 1 cost fire with an awesome effect that says you can disenchant a fire spirit from your Hestia in order to add a 1 spirit fire Elestral from your underworld to your hand. So we know Hestia really benefits from being able to get those fire Elestrals that she can special cast out to the field, and Ampharix is going to allow you that regeneration of bringing those Elestrals back to your hand. When you ascend this Ampharix, during your end phase, you can special cast it from your underworld with fire. Now, we've talked a lot about how Hestia can utilize...
And then you can literally just keep repeating the process. The one thing I was happy to see that they used Cap Perfume. So Cap Perfume's effect is expend fire to special cast from hand. So again, that's the same thing Hestia does as long as you have, what, less Elestrals on field? As long as your opponent has more. So again, you're in the weeds, your opponent's winning. Hestia special cast, bring out your Cap Perfume, special cast again, and then Ampharix, if you did use that for your Ascension, bring it back at the end of the turn. So that's 3 Elestrals, hopefully at the end of your turn.
Very cool Ascension plays, so you can very easily cast this thing out with Hestia's effect, find something from your underworld to add it to your hand, ascend this thing into another Elestral like a Blazerus or a Leonite or otherwise, deal massive amounts of damage, and then bring Ampharix back in the end.
Shout out to Leonite. The fact that he name dropped that, I'm wondering if it's going to get better in this meta. Just a hunch.
Is to be able to put more pressure on your opponent. This card is a gorgeous, gorgeous promo and one you do not want to miss out on. So make sure you guys are showing love at your local game store. You can pre-order Elestrals through your local shops. We work with distribution in Canada now. So if you're in Canada, we work with Universal Distribution, so your stores can get stuff from there. If you're in EU, we work with Blackfire EU, which is the biggest European distributor of card games. If you're in the UK, we work with Bliss UK, which is one of our new distributors there as well. So we are expanding globally for you guys to be able to get your cards. And if you're in the US, we work with a handful of the best distributors across the United States markets to get you guys cards. So tell your local game stores to pre-order Firestorm so you can get yourself a Stellar Ampharix, a pre-order and order exclusive through LGS while supplies last. Don't miss out. Now is the time to pre-order.
All right, guys, that's it for this particular video. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the next video in these reveals. All right, guys, round 2 on these videos. Let's go. The Ultimate Frost upgrade is here.
Frostcasters, I hope you're ready because we've got some chilling reveals for y'all today as we reveal a ton of new Frost cards for our brand new set, Elestrals Divine Champions Firestorm. Let's take a look. If you have not pre-ordered Firestorm yet, what are you doing? Incredible opportunity to grab a 2-player starter deck with 4 packs for just 25 bucks. You get the Stellar Exaltair promo every 50 you spend. Our booster boxes are loaded with incredible cards to pull, including some Stellars that I'm gonna reveal in today's video. And we've got those brand new code cards as well that allow you to redeem them on our Play Network to get...
The code cards is such a cool idea. I know Pokemon has code cards in their boosters, and you can use that for the online game, which is nice. But at least for Elestrals, their code cards go toward physical product, which to me is absolutely amazing. Again, caster coins, you can look right there. A base bit set, Frostfall, or Daybreak booster box is 400 caster coins. They did say in these sets you can get anywhere from 5 to 100 caster coins per booster box. So if you're someone like me who opens a bunch of booster boxes and they're doing those seller hunts, you can actually now get more of your money back doing it this way, which feels really good.
Caster coins, which you can redeem for stamp promos, and even more product like booster boxes. Absolutely nuts. Tell your friends about Firestorm, and let's talk about some brand new cards because these are awesome. If you missed our Lunar reveals yesterday, you should check those out. But let's talk about our first new champion, Elestral Narpoon, champion of Khione. Now this Narpoon may be a water Elestral, so I kind of lied, but it's going to lean into Frost pretty heavily with its 4 attack and 2 defense. It's got a new Nexus effect as well that states that you can Nexus Water or Frost. When this Narpoon receives 1 or more Frost Spirit, you can special ascend it to Waylands from your hand or deck.
So immediately seeing this, decent effect, broken secondary effect. The fact that you can special cast Whale Lance from your hand or deck. So the first part of that is think of the normal Whale Lance. Destroys an Elestral on field. Your opponent has to, or you can search your opponent's deck for the rest of those copies. You can get rid of them. Going into this next format, when you're going to have all these titled cards, all these champions, you're able to take up to 6 cards out of their deck. Say it's Elestrals for the 4. Say it's going to be your opponent. You're facing an opponent that has Narpoon. Go ahead, beat over their Narpoon. Now you're going to search their deck for all Narpoons or champion of Khione Narpoons. You're going to get rid of every single one of them. That's going to be upwards of a third of their Elestrals from their deck sent straight to the end of the world, giving you massive advantage. We will in a second see the champion of Khione Whale Lance, which if I remember correctly does have a pretty strong effect. But I'm just thinking Frostfall Whale Lance makes it even better.
Now, Whale Lance is an Elestral that actually saw some play at the end of the Daybreak metagame as a card that allows you to deal massive amounts of damage and search your opponent's deck and remove cards with the same name, which can prove to be incredibly powerful as more champion cards get introduced. But obviously, we're going to have a new Whale Lance champion of Khione that we're going to talk about here soon. This Narpoon is epic because it allows you to move those spirits around the field. In water decks, you can activate more receive effects, but most importantly, when paired with cards like Khione.
I mean, imagine doing a water deck and you don't even need Khione in this deck. Unless the next Whale Lance needs it on field. But in general, like if you're running just a normal Whale Lance in your water deck, go ahead and toss the Narpoon in there. And then just bring out the next one. That's actually really cool. And the receive effect, I really wasn't thinking about that. Dratagra on field. Dratagra receives water, go ahead and heal too.
Other cards like Mountains of Boreas that can establish spirits onto the field for you. You can turbo ascend this Narpoon into Whale Lance and put your opponent on the back foot with a very powerful attacker. Looking ahead to Whale Lance, champion of Khione, a brand new monstrous attacker.
So first thing I'm looking for, it does not state Khione in its effect. So again, just tossing this into a water deck is going to make it a lot more aggro. 7-5, again, just one off from the 8-4 for the other one, not a big deal. Deals piercing damage. Okay, I'm fine with that. 2 costs for piercing. The only other real piercing one we have is Like a Void on its effect, and then you have Glaciursa, which is super weak defense, so that doesn't feel that great. Deals piercing damage. When this Whale Lance declares an attack, nexus up to 4 frost from any number of cards on your field to it. So, again, your first thought is going to be, I need frost cards in this deck. Not necessarily. The fact that you see deals piercing damage, period. That's it. That's all I'm worried about. If you're running a water nexus deck, you can still have this as your ace and just nexus a bunch of water to it, and you're good to go. In a frost deck with Khione on field or anything else on field, that works out great. This is a game-ending card right here. If your opponent has, say, 5 spirits or less, and you can either Helios Chariot Ride, or if you can Hurricane, or if they just have nothing in the back row, bring this guy out, go into your battle step, or declare an attack, nexus up to 4 more frost to it, and then if you're facing a 1 cost, you're going to deal 5 damage just in that 1 attack alone. That's a monster. And shout out to the Draking that's sitting right there underneath it.
Love this art, by the way. So incredible. My man Lorenzo absolutely crushed it. Whale Lance is a water and frost Elestral with 7 attack and 5 defense. So a really good attack stat, very bulky, and of course, you have the flexibility of choosing which Whale Lance you want to go into. But this one's going to deal some damage. This Whale Lance deals piercing damage. So we added a new piercing damage Elestral to the game. This card is going to deal damage when it attacks defense position Elestrals as well.
And honestly, I'm thinking, you're going to run 3 of those Narpoon champion of Khione. You can run 1 and 1 on the Whale Lances. You don't have to have 2 of each, 3 of each. I personally wouldn't. I think 2 to 3 Ascensions per deck is probably the most you need to worry about. But yeah, I definitely would say run 3 and then 1 of each Whale Lance, just to, depending on what situation you're in. If you're beginning of the game and your opponent doesn't have much back row, go out to the normal Whale Lance, hopefully pop that card, take everything outside of their deck. Or again, game ending turn, go ahead and bring this guy out, deal massive damage.
So if this attacks a 1 spirit Astrabit and the Whale Lance has 2 spirits on it, or most likely 3 because of Narpoon's Nexus effect, you're going to be dealing the difference in spirit damage to defense position Elestrals. Very, very strong effect, but it gets really, really powerful. When this Whale Lance declares an attack, you can Nexus up to 4 Frost Spirits from any number of cards on your field to it. That means that if you have this paired with a Khione, or if you have this paired with some other Elestrals, or if you have
One thing to point out, though, like I said, you want to pay attention to that back row. If they use Shield of Achilles at this moment, that's a big feels bad. That's a big feels bad.
Compared with the Mountains of Boreas or a Scepter of Khione or any other card that is allowing you to establish Frost Spirits to the field, this Waylands can just take all of them, well, up to 4, but that's quite a few, take all of those spirits and then deal piercing damage to your opponent's defense position, Elestral. This card is going to close out some games, this card is going to deal some massive damage, and it's going to also put some additional utility on Khione, which has been a very valuable card to find Elestrals, Frost Elestral specifically from your underworld, but now being able to fuel not only the Harpoon, but the Waylands to deal massive amounts of damage, this card is going to be epic. This next champion of Khione is one of my absolute favorite cards in the set because of what it's going to do for the Frost element in terms of consistency. Up next, we've got Brumalinx, champion of Khione. I love the hairstyle on this thing. I think that's absolutely incredible. 4 attack, 2 defense, 1 cost Frost, and this card is very versatile because when you cast this Brumalinx, you can search your deck for a Mountains of Boreas or a Blizzard and add it to your hand.
So first thing I want to point out, 4-2 stats. It does feel bad versus the other one, which is a 3-5, but again, not bad stats. The fact that you're searching Stadium or your Blizzard to destroy a face down rune, I think that's great. And again, now with this card, you don't need Jolton in your deck anymore. All Frost casters that are trying to fit Jolton so they can search their Mountains of Boreas, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Same exact stats as Jolton, but able to search more cards, which feels great.
That means that this becomes the Jolton of Frost, essentially, right? The ability to search out your stadium, provide consistency for the element,
honestly,
and also buff yourself immediately to 5 attack. Because
the only difference is Jolton can search any stadium versus this one only searches Frost, but again, you don't have to fit the Thunder Spirits in your deck now.
The effect of Mountains of Boreas, a very powerful card here now to jumpstart Frost decks. We've also got the ability to search out Blizzard, which is going to be really important for some of the cards I'm about to talk about, but also enhancing the ability to punish your opponent's face down runes and prevent them from even countering your play because you can't chain to Blizzard. So some really awesome implications here for Brumalinx. I think this card can be really powerful and provide that consistency that Frost casters have been looking for outside of some of the core strategies like your More Frost, like your, utilizing Cryolink, Cryover, and strategies. Brumalinx is going to open up the possibilities for the Frost element in a big way. Now, this next card I'm going to reveal is going to pair incredibly well with your opportunity to get that Blizzard, and that is a brand new Frigicub. And this Frigicub is very interesting, and I'm going to highlight a few things about it, and I need you guys to stick with me on this one so that we're all clear moving forward. This Frigicub does not have a title, but it does have a different effect than the original Frigicub printed in Frostfall. What that means is you'll only be able to run up to 3 copies total between this Frigicub and the Frostfall Frigicub. The way you're allowed to...
So we already kind of knew this was happening with Flammoth. We did see it in a promotional picture. It does have different stats and it does have a different effect. So not titled, Mitch, like he just said, you can only have the 3 copies of regular Frigicub in your deck, whether it's any non-titled Frigicub, I should say. Sorry. Comparing the two, since you got them on screen right now, 4-2 versus 4-3. Obviously, the 4-3 feels better, but again, you're not really playing it in defense. If it's going in defense, you know it's most likely getting destroyed. Return a Blizzard from your underworld to your hand. I'm for that because it's destruction that can't be countered. It's rune destruction, face down rune destruction that can't be countered. Thinking in my head how these guys kind of work together, you could regular Frigicub Nexus 2 when you do enchant Frost from Underworld to Frigicub, and then you can go ahead and activate this, cast this Frigicub for instance, grab your Blizzard, and then now you can activate Blizzard for half the cost. Thinking long term, if you have your Shiveror out, your normal Shiveror, I believe that one you can enchant from Underworld as well. So you figure Nexus with this Frigicub to your Shiveror, sorry. Now you just heal 2 spirits from your Underworld, and then you have this guy. If every turn you can return a Blizzard. It's a you can effect, so you can do that every single turn. So if you're able to get all 3 of those cards on field, normal Shiveror, the normal Frigicub, and the new Frigicub, every single turn you're blowing up one of their back row. They're going to play Shield, blow it up. PTA, you're going to blow it up. You won't have to cast any more Elestrals. As long as you have some kind of protection, sure. But at least you know you don't have to worry about their face down runes for most of the match at that point if you can get that combo off.
Additional copies of a card is if they have a title on them, and this Frigicub does not have a title, so it will be competing for deck space with your original Frostfall Frigicub. That is how things are going to be moving.
But also remember, yeah, it's competing, but you only need one of these or one of the other one, because you have Infrostix, which you can special cast from Underworld, or you have Khione, which can grab a 1-cost from Underworld. So no matter what, whichever scenario you go, 2 of the Frostfall one or one of these ones or vice versa, you're able to get them back continuously.
In Elestrals. So the champion of Elestrals, the champions of the Divine, those can function independently of the same name counterparts, as we've seen with Morfrost. But because this Frigicub has the exact same name and no title as the Frostfall Frigicub, it'll be competing with itself essentially for deck space up to 3.
Shout out for Morfrost. Do you think we'll ever get just Morfrost? Just by itself, that's not a title. I'm curious.
Copies. This card comes in with 4 attack and 3 defense, and it has an effect that says you can return a Blizzard from your Underworld to your hand. Now that may seem a little underwhelming at first, but when we talk about our next card, it's going to make a lot of sense. So let's bring up its brand new Ascension, Shiverroar. Shiverroar, much like Frigicub, does not have a title, so that's something to be not mindful of, as it will be competing for deck space against the original Frostfall Shiverroar, which ultimately works incredibly well with Mountains of Boreas. This Shiverroar has 7 attack and 5 defense, and its effect states that you can expend a Frost Spirit in order to special cast a Frigicub from your Underworld with Frost. So that immediately allows you to bring back a Frigicub from your Underworld. And again, it could be the new Frigicub we just revealed, or it could be the Frigicub from Frostfall. When you cast Blizzard, you can target and destroy an Elestral. So
first of all, the artwork is gorgeous. You can see Mountains of Boreas behind it without all the frost or the snow on there. It's another you can effect, so you're doing this every single turn if you're able to. You can expend Frost in order to special cast a Frigicub from your Underworld with Frost. You can when you cast Blizzard, you can target and destroy an Elestral. So immediately I go back to the other scenario. You can go ahead and have the normal Frigicub out. You can activate this guy's effect, expend Frost, bring back the other one. Now you get to bring back your Blizzard. Use your Nexus shenanigans to add more Frost on field. Use those new Frost to go ahead and use for Blizzard's cost. Use Blizzard, pop a card on field. Recycle, rinse and recycle. This is if this combo pops off, it's gonna be absolutely nuts. And again, if they're popping every card you play, you've lost the game. There's nothing you can do. Elestrals right now does not have a dark hole like Yu-Gi-Oh! That just destroys everything on field. It doesn't exist right now. So until that happens, you're SOL if you're up against that combo.
Have this synergy between being able to pull your Frigicub back from the Underworld, get your Blizzard back, and then get some destruction onto the field. But you can also utilize this with the original Frostfall Frigicub to be able to Nexus spirits around the field and just have some really big, powerful potential to put a lot of spirits and pressure onto your opponent.
And that's a really good point too, because just if you need to get something that's stronger than this Shiverroar as it is, you gotta think about if you have Mountains of Boreas on field, you bring this Shiverroar out, it's a 9 attack. Say they have Centaur out, okay? Go ahead and bring the other Frigicub back, Nexus 2 to Shiverroar. If you have Khione or something on field, now it's going to go ahead and crash into that Centaur, and you're actually going to deal them damage for a spirit, the spirit difference.
State. This Shiverroar is very, very cool, and the combination opportunities with Blizzard are going to continue to be expanded, not just in this set, but in future sets. So there's a lot of things to look forward to here with the new Frigicub, Shiverroar, and of course how they pair so wonderfully with Brumelink's Champion of Khione. Now, I showed you in the last video about Lunar that we have a brand new Reverse Stellar Spectrus, and I'm very excited to announce our next Reverse Stellar for Firestorm, and that is going to be none other than Reverse Stellar Brumelink's Champion of Khione.
That's gorgeous. Like, that's absolutely gorgeous. With Mountains Boreas behind it, you can actually see the Aurora Borealis on top of the mountain, and then it's just jumping, looks like from tree to tree or from rock to rock. Very cool design. This, honestly, it kind of reminds me, I'll have to try to find it. If I can find it, I'll post it on screen right now. There's a Zera Aura that has an art that I think is very similar to this. Or this Brumelink's kind of gives me a Zera Aura kind of vibe.
I told you guys how I absolutely love this effect. The versatility of grabbing Mountains of Boreas or grabbing Blizzard is only going to help your game plan, but this 4 attack and 2 defense with this beautiful, beautiful golden coloration, hopping along the mountainside as my man Rob Hicks has illustrated. Absolutely gorgeous. Frostcasters, you are going to need to get yourself some reverse stellar Broomalinks, and you may be able to start to gather some of the strategy or the idea behind reverse stellars in Firestorm at this point, but I'll let you guys to continue to speculate. But very excited about the future here for Frost Elestrals and for Frostcasters with the brand new reverse.
The only thing I've kind of noticed so far for the reverse stellars is that their normal forms have stellars already. That's the only thing I'm really seeing so far.
Broomalinks, a hit you do not want to miss. And last but certainly not least, I thought it'd be fun to reveal a brand new X out of 99 stellar, one of the serialized stellars that you'll be able to pull from your Firestorm booster boxes and packs that come alongside your starter deck. And that is none other than Stellar Narpoon, champion of Khione.
One thing that is kind of cool, that this stellar, we're about to get the Kickstarter product that everyone ordered months ago. And it does come with a promo Stellar Narpoon, the regular, and they did keep the stellar pattern exactly the same, which I think is really cool.
They highlighted this thing's incredible effect, and this has become one of my favorite stellar designs. I absolutely love what Lorenzo did here with Narpoon, champion of Khione, and your ability to turbo this into Waylands is going to be so epic. Very, very excited about this Stellar Narpoon, and I hope you guys are stoked to pull it as one of your serialized stellars in Firestorm. Don't forget that pre-orders are for...
Really cool reveals today, guys. I'm all for these. I think of all the reveals we saw today, I do like the Pandolins and the Spectaris over the Like a Void Ascension line. That's just me. I like the burn effects, #1, and the Spectaris that you can special cast. Feels really great. And then, honestly, the Frigicubs. The Frigicub into Shiver combo, that whole set stretch of combos would be absolutely insane. And then Waylands as a game ender card. Waylands, go ahead next up the 4 spirits. They got 5 spirits or less. If you're able to deal that damage, the game's over. So I'm completely for that. My name's Stellar Christoph. I'll see you guys in the next set of reveals. I hope you guys all have a stellar day.